Alright, good evening everyone and welcome back to some more TCR action coming your way today. It is Trinity Competitive Racing, it is Season 10, and it's also Round 10. We are at Albert Park in Australia for the Australian Grand Prix in this golden class of TCR, so this is going to be a very good race. So far, golden class has been extremely exciting and very competitive, very close indeed between a lot of different people. There's even battling going on already on the track on the out lap before qualifying has even begun. In the booth with you guys tonight is myself, BLIN-MACHINE, and also joining me in the booth tonight for another commentary is Mr. ISRL Knight. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm not bad. Thank you for having me back in the commentary booth again. And I'm excited to finally get some laps in. These drivers to get some laps in for the Australian Grand Prix. It's a lovely racetrack. It's always super fun to come watch some racing here. And it usually gives us some pretty good races.
I definitely have to agree with that. I think strategy is going to be very important here today over everything else. But also, as we saw last night, there's a possibility of virtual safety cars. There might be some incidents. Whenever the battling gets together here, it's pretty tight. Oh my goodness, there we go. JXW Gaming is out of the session. I was just watching with him, or is it M9H? I'm not sure who it is, but... Oh my goodness.
DNF'd at the exact same time there, so I didn't see quite what happened. It might have been it's even something between the two of them.
Wow.
But that was, yeah, that's very unfortunate this early in qualifying. It really takes away any chance that you have at starting not at the back of the grid. You don't even get to set a lap. You don't get any real sort of warm-up ahead of the race, so it really kind of hinders your chances to have an incident this early in the session.
Absolutely, that is very unfortunate. And was there somebody else that had an incident there?
Somebody sliding through the gravel there, but it might have just been a trick of the camera. But I thought for sure we're going to have another victim.
All right, let's watch on board, with this Ferrari as it's going through turn 11 and 12, and that's Fuzz opening up the DRS now. Those turns 11 and 12, those are pretty much the only corners where you can sort of extend on this track. Otherwise, everywhere around, you've got the grass and very high curbs everywhere else. So we're only watching those two turns. The rest of the turns are, the usual rules. You can use the curb, just can't take all four wheels off of the track. It was very nice in the last weekend in Portugal to be watching the track limits video that they were showing with their safety car and pretty much telling the drivers to do the exact same thing as what we're doing on track here today. It's very exciting to see. I'm not sure who came up with that first.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't want to be pushing the limits too much, especially during the race. And at this track, it's a little bit, like you said, there's high curbs everywhere, there's grass. You start pushing the limits, and it's quite easy to just spin the car around, or worse. And at the same time, if you push it where you can, like you mentioned, turns 11 and 12, well, you can't push too much, but you wind up potentially taking time penalties, and that affects your race at the end. So you got to be very careful with the track limits around this circuit, because they're either unforgiven or you're gonna wind up with some penalties.
We do have some times on the board already. Chargers is just crossed the line and put in one of the quickest laps there with a 120.1. Zegrease is sitting in second place with a 120.2. Aerofist 120.4. So everybody's very, very close. Puff Digital, he's a new driver in the league. He did not have a very good race here at last weekend's race, or last week's race, but he's currently sitting in fourth place with a 120.6. And again, very, very close all the way down to Stanley in ninth place with a 120.9. So right off the bat, everybody's running within that 120 times. Flying Jippo 121.3 right outside of sitting in top 10 right now. And then McLaren P1 is the last person to set a lap, 123.5, sitting in 11th place. We do have RC7 on his out lap right now. and not much else going on. Everybody's back into the pits after completing their first hot lap. But I want to ask, Knight, what do you think in terms of strategy here? Last night we saw a couple of people trying to do the medium to maybe a soft, or a medium to a hard, but what is really the ultimate strategy?
Well, listen, I raced here last weekend with my own league, and we saw every kind of strategy, I think. We saw some two-stops. We saw people going from the softs to the hards. We saw somebody manage to stretch out a soft to medium stint. We saw people trying, soft, medium. It was all over the place because not one thing works around here. Now, personally, I think a soft to hard is going to be the best strategy because it lets you push really hard on both tire sets without worrying too much about them lasting very much to the end. Of course, I think you know this, that you finished the race on the hards in your own race. That went very well for you. But yeah, it's gonna be a little interesting to see if we see some off the cuff strategies. But in my personal experience, I think the hard tires are going to be the key tire this weekend. So probably some soft to hard strategies for most of this pack.
Yeah, last night when I finished on those hard tires, I'll tell you, they were screaming right towards the end. So it wasn't the ultimate best place to be in, but and also Paz was catching up so quickly. I wasn't expecting any of that to happen. But overall, I do feel like the safety car, the second safety car that came out last night, definitely helped me out. But as we've mentioned, that is a possibility here. It's a big possibility that there could be an incident, there could be a safety car. I think the exit of turn 12 really proved to be the biggest problem here, as we see RC7 coming through it right now and opens up the DRS, and that was a very, very smooth run through there for RC7. But in the race, with tire wear, with you battling possibly with other people, it could be a completely different story.
Yeah, absolutely. And this track isn't as wide as it may seem, so overtaking here is to be pretty it has to be, it's a precise operation, and these drivers are gonna have to focus quite hard. Now we have a couple of guys out on track. Ben Swerven's up on his time by quite a bit, and he's looking pretty good so far for this session.
So Ben Swerven currently holding on to 11th place. We've got a lot of people coming out for another outlap. All of the leaders, Charges, Z-Grease, Aero, Puff Digital, TCR Jones, Golderator, all of them about to start another lap here in just a second. Let's go on board with Jones. I think he just crossed the line, and we're going to go through a lap here into turn 1, cutting the inside chicane very nicely there, getting a really good exit on the outside curb now as well, and running with the DRS open into turn 3. Nice and hard on the braking, getting good rotation to the right hand side, and now you got to quickly lift off the throttle and come into the left hander, and then into another really quick right hander. You got to keep the car on the revs there in 6th gear, just as Jones does. Now into the next series of corners, a quick little chicane, a right and a left, and TCR Jones again getting such a beautiful run through all of that. Now into turn 9. Hard on the braking, locking up the inside wheel there just a tiny little bit. Oh, and he loses the back of the car, smashes into the wall. So that's going to be damage, and he has aborted that lap, unfortunately.
It's the Red Bull behind him who's done a good job keeping up with him. Aerofizz then, and Purple Sector 2. So I'm not sure quite how much he's up on his time by. I missed the little blip there as he entered Sector 3. But it's looking like a good lap for the Red Bull, and I think he's going to be able to do what TCR, I'm honestly not 100% sure how to pronounce it. Jones. There you go, Mr. Jones. Okay, you put the Mr. Oh, I get it now. That's pretty clever. Anyways, I think he's going to be able to do what Mr. Jones didn't, and crosses the line here. And did he improve his time?
I think he improved just fractionally there, so he is still in 5th place with a 120.297. Looks like he might be pushing for another lap.
He might have, well, he doesn't seem to be pushing very hard, but he might have maybe been a little bit impeded, or not impeded, but distracted by the incident ahead, and maybe bailed out of that lap, because he was on a very good run prior to it. So
Chargers had just put in a quickest second sector as he's coming through the one to last corner now and into the last corner. This one is probably the trickiest corner for me personally on the whole track. I just can't get a proper run through there. Oh, and Chargers goes with a 119.7 up to provisional pole, but Stanley just a second before him across the line with a 119.797. So the two of them separated by barely anything there.
And even flying Jippo right behind them, he's only about 2/100th of a second behind Stanley. So, or 1/100th of a second behind Stanley. He's right behind them too. So it's a tight battle at the front. 3 teams involved as well. So you see that. And as these guys get probably another lap in for qualifying, we're looking to see those times fall even further.
Let's hope so, but that is already very impressive. We still got 6 minutes to go in qualifying. Z-Grease, is he pushing right now? It does kind of look like he's pushing for a lap here. Or unless he's going to come into the pits right now, we're going to take a look. No, he goes into the pits. So everybody that's out on track right now has pretty much completed their lap. They're all coming back in. Stanley has just come out of the pits onto another out lap. He's currently holding on to second position on the grid, but only by such a fraction. I mean, he can either lose it either way to Flying Jippo. He's only 10 thousandths of a second in front of him, and he's only, 83 thousandths of a second behind Chargers. Those margins are super slim.
Oh, yeah, and everyone's so close right now. You can see just how tight the competition is. While we were talking, Golderator and You Having a Giggle Me both improving their lap times, so and bringing them up. Really, a lot of this field is within a second, almost the whole top 10, within a second of the leaders. So it's not just at the top, but really throughout the field that we're seeing these times tighten up, and the racing getting a bit more even, I think.
Yeah, quick shout out to everybody who's joining the stream right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Definitely keep those comments coming in, and leave us a like, leave us a subscription, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, because all of this action is definitely exciting here. We have 3 different classes of racing, and tonight we're here with the golden class. In the standings right now, Flying Jippo is leading the championship with 167 points. Aerofizen in second with 90 points, and Z-Grease 83 points in third place, Osseo 75 in fourth, Chargers in fifth with 73 points. Again, the margins between the times, between the pace, and between the times right now in qualifying as well as the points in the championship, it's just super tight. Well, except for Flying Jippo.
Yeah, he's kind of cruising ahead, isn't he? But for the rest of these guys, it's really a battle that they gotta give their best in race to race, because you get a bad race, you get a DNF, and all of a sudden a dude who 2 races ago was 10 points behind you, and you're like, oh, that's nothing to worry about. I gotta set my sights ahead. Well, he's the guy ahead of you now, and they gotta be so consistent every race when it's so tight like this. So battle of attrition more than anything. And with the second Red Bull, or no, he's there, never mind. I was gonna misread his name there. But yeah, with the second Red Bull, either way, he's got to catch up a little bit to his teammate. He's got to get ahead of him in qualifying, I think, if he wants to stand a chance at closing up that gap, maybe getting away from the pack under him.
Stanley just about to finish up his, I think it's second hot lap in the session, and up to first place he goes with a 119.663. So he has just beat Chargers by almost a tenth, or about half a tenth there. So again, it's not really a big gap. We might see that possibly still change. Does Stanley have enough time to come into the pits and go for another run?
I think just barely. I did see him kind of take some liberties with the corner there, so I think he is trying to do that, because if he can get in his pit box with at least, I would say, 2 minutes 15 to go, he's going to have to rush, but you might just be able to squeeze another one, though. It's not looking likely. He is quite far. Yeah, it's not looking likely for Stanley, but I think he is trying, so we'll have to wait and see.
A couple of drivers pulling out of the pits now. Fuzz in 9th place with a 120.8 has come out of the pits. Asio in 11th place right now. Asio is doing pretty good in the championship. He's in 4th place. He's had a run of a couple of bad races, unfortunately, in the recent races, but he did a 2nd place in Spain, so he definitely knows what a podium and a win could smell like here in this league. So we'll hope for him that he might be able to put in another good lap here. He's being overtaken there on an out lap, or no, on a fast lap by his teammate. And TCR Jones, I know the graphic keeps on coming up saying that TCR Jones has the fastest lap, but that is incorrect. It's just Codemasters with their amazing programming.
Yeah, speaking of amazing programming, I do think Asio was on his outlap there, because for me it's just switched to a hot lap, and look at that, yeah, getting a tow from his teammate down the main straight. So I think it might have just been a bit of planned strategy there from the McLaren boys, working together to give each other a little bit of a boost.
Alright, and into now turn 4. Very nice through there, and into turns 5, and this turn doesn't really count for anything. Now 6 and 7. Very nice from Asio there. Let's see, he's going to be, he's through the first sector. I did not see it go into purple, so he's not quite as quick as, let's say, Stanley or Chargers or those guys, but Stanley is retired from the session already. He feels like he is safe with that 119.663. We're gonna have to wait and see, because Chargers is just about to come around the last corner, and he's gonna start his hot lap. Puff Digital retires from the session now. He's currently sitting in 8th place with a 120.5, not a bad time at all. Remember, I qualified in P13 here yesterday and ended up winning the race, so anything could happen in Australia with safety cars, VSCs, and strategy is definitely a big thing around here. Asio rounding up the last corner of this track.
7/10 up on his time at the end of sector 2. 7/10, let's see if he can convert that. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Yeah, he goes up into 5th place with a 120.0. That is extremely impressive. So Chargers is now just coming into the 2nd sector, into turn 9 and 10. And he's making it pretty nice through there, getting a really nice and tight line, not going out wide into the wall there, or not running near the wall. But now the tightest corner, 11 and 12, he's a 10th up on the best time right now in the 2nd sector. That is quite impressive. So Chargers on pace right now to beat Stanley for pole position. Only got a few more corners to go here, rounding it into turn 14, and now only 15 and 16 to go. This one is a nice tight left-hander, but this last corner, it could completely spin you out, but he gets a really good run. Chargers running up to the line with the DRS open, and he just misses. Yeah, he just missed out on it with a 119.693 instead of a 663 for Stanley. 30 thousandths of a second between those two guys. Flying Jippo round the last corner right now, opens up his DRS, running up to the line. Let's see what he can do here. Flying Jippo, he goes on to pole position with a 119.3. This guy is absolutely crazy. I have no idea where he's getting this sort of pace, but it's just every week in and week out, he's just impressive. Z-Grease into the...
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Flying Jippo, that's all in the sector 3. He had a wonderful sector 3. He was only a 10th up on his time, not even a full 10th up on his time at the end of sector 2. By the end of sector 3, enough time gain to go on pole, so he pulled out a wonderful last couple of corners there.
Wow, if you guys are just joining the stream, I see a lot of people tuning in. Thank you guys again so much for tuning into the stream and watching TCR. Leave us a like, leave some comments, let us know who you're cheering for. But if you guys missed out on it, Flying Jippo is just, you gotta call him like the bank robber, because he just keeps on coming in at the 90th minute and he just takes it away. I mean, you can't even call it the 90th minute in Formula 1 here because it's split seconds. But Flying Jippo on pole position for this Australian Grand Prix in round 10, currently sitting on the top of the championship standings, and this is proving again why. Stanley in second place, very close, while 310s behind him in second place. Chargers and Stanley were super close between the two of them, only 30 thousandths of a second. So Chargers in third place, Z-Grease in fourth, Aero in fifth, Osseo in sixth, RC7 in seventh place, Golden Raider in eighth, Puff Digital in ninth, Jones is going to be in 10th, Fuzz in 11th, Ben in 12th, McLaren P1 in 13th, you have in the Giggle in 14th, and I think it was M9H Racing there in 14th place. We will run through them again on the outlap just to make sure we've got everyone covered. But Knight, some predictions for the race. What do you think we are in for here tonight?
Well, listen, looking at the tires that the drivers qualified on, I didn't see a single set of mediums there. So I think we're going to see some aggressive strategies, and because of that, we're going to see some aggressive racing. And I don't mean that in a dirty sense. I just mean we're going to see some bold moves, I think. We're going to see some guys going with the softer, possibly tire compounds, and I think they're going to be trying to undercut and play the pit strategy because nobody's aiming to go long early in this race. They all want to get ahead first and stay there. So I think we're going to have a cracking race here ahead of us.
Let's definitely hope for that, because that sounds amazing. We have all of our drivers right now getting their strategies worked out, figuring out what tires they're going to be starting on. And I think around here, as Knight already mentioned, it's super important. You gotta really get the right strategy. You gotta get ahead in the starting of the race and try to hold it together, not make any mistakes. We also have a couple of reserve drivers here tonight. Pazorus Rex and Nip Steven coming over from Silver Class, doing a reserve drive for Gold Class tonight. So that will be exciting to see where they will end up, and maybe they might throw a wrench into the works of some of our Golden drivers here tonight. We've definitely seen that before in this season already. Me and Paz had an amazing battle for the lead on the last lap yesterday, which was absolutely incredible. Now looking at starting tires here, so we've got a little bit of a mix of strategies. Everybody from obviously first to 10 has to start on the tire that they qualified on, so they will be starting on that soft tire. Fuzz and Ben Swerven in 11 and 12, they're going to be on the medium. McLaren and you have in the Giggle in 13th and 14th place on the soft tire. We've got M9H Racing and JW Gaming, as well as Nip Steven, all starting on that hard tire. Those are going to be in 15th, 16th, and 17th place. Pazorus Rex in 18th place on a medium, and Ryan, also a new driver here tonight, is on a hard tire in 19th place. And that fastest time graphic just keeps on popping up for TCR Jones. I'm not really sure what's going on with that.
Yeah, it's a bit weird for you. I'm not getting that, thankfully. So, I mean, he must be a sign of things to come.
Oh no. Well, you know what? You will be our official fastest lap reporter for this race, because I just won't be able to tell.
I'll make sure to keep track.
Alright, so they are on their outlap right now. They're all getting ready. Flying Jippo leading them out there, leading the championship. Let's see what else he'll be able to do here. Stanley starting in a really great position in second place. He was quite close to Chargers there in qualifying. Chargers might put on an attack at the start. We never really know what to expect from the Australian Grand Prix, especially the start. I think the first 3 corners, or even the first 4 corners, are going to be very, very exciting. We're going to have to keep an eye both on the front and the back of the grid to try and see if there's anything happening, but I'm expecting to see some pieces of front wing flying on the track.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can see that happening. Listen, turn 1 here, turn 2, they're fast corners. So it's not a heavy braking zone. There's not a whole lot of overtaking opportunities, which means a lot of these guys are going to be waiting and timing their moves into turn 3 and maybe even turn 4 if it's a switchback. So we're going to see the first 2 turns here, first 3, 4 turns, like you said, full of action, and hopefully not too many front wings.
Alright, so everybody is rejoining from their outlap right now. Hopefully they've got their tires and brakes all warmed up to the good right strategies and right temperatures. And now we're going to be waiting for those lights to come on. There they go. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights are on. Oh, and there's a drive-through penalty for Fuzz for jump start, but the lights go off here, and Arrow Fizzan gets a really good start there. He is trying to, or I think, yeah, the position got changed because there was a little bit of a jump, but Chargers goes off the road, so does Arrow into turn 2, and Asio is now putting an attack on them in front there. We're going to try and switch over to him. There we go. Z-Grease into the inside, and there goes Asio around the outside into turn 4 now. Very exciting stuff already off the start. It looks like Flying Jippo has gotten ahead, and who is behind him there? I think that's going to be Stanley. So Stanley's still in second place. I know the graphic is messed up for some reason. It's also saying that it's actually lap 2, but we're still on lap 1. We have just started this race, so we're going to try and keep up with everything that's going on. There was a yellow flag there in the first sector. It looks like Ben Swerven. Oh, Ben Swerven is spinning out there in the first sector. He has hit the wall a couple of times. He's missing a piece of his front wing. McLaren P1 is coming just right there, and they almost crashed into each other. That was extremely close between the two of them. M9H Racing looks like he's dropped a little bit back as well. I think he got tied up with some people at the start. We have a yellow flag in sector 2, but we're back to green flag racing now. A big battle here with you having the giggle, and I think it's his teammate of Nip Steven. They're going very close together. We're only coming to the end of the first lap. I know the graphic says lap 2. Hopefully it will fix itself as we come across the line now. RC7 there trying to put a move on the car in front of him, which is Puff Digital. Flying Jippo putting in the fastest lap so far, so I guess my graphic is working fine now.
Well, that's good. It's fixed itself. Man, what a start. You were saying that we were going to see some moves into turn 3 and 4 and stuff, and we saw 2 separate sets of cars go 3 wide into turn 3, and it was absolutely mad start for everyone involved. I'm so surprised that there wasn't any bigger incidents. There was a McLaren P1 there, had a bit of a spin, but didn't collect anybody, and then of course Ben swerving, but everyone seems to have made it through, mostly in one piece here.
Nip Steven and you having a giggle, having a real big battle there. There looks like Pizarus Rex has spun out on the exit of turn 7, and now into oh no! It's a tap. It's a big contact between the two Alfa Romeos. The two Alfa Romeos have crashed together. Nip Steven and you having a giggle. Also a 5-second penalty for JX Gaming. He got a severe collision with somebody, but oh my goodness, it's rule number 1 not to crash with your teammate. And that's exactly what the two Alfa Romeos have done here tonight. We have a virtual safety car, I think maybe due to that incident, but maybe just due to other incidents around the track as well. Is anybody going into the pits yet? So let's take a look.
Doesn't look like it. It seems everybody opting to steer clear here, not choosing to go off their tire strategy yet. But that's an unfortunate incident. Like you said, first rule is to not crash with your teammate, and with the way the two Alfa Romeos were battling, that was just a matter of time. They were so close for so long there, so early in the race when you're heavy on fuel too. And unfortunate for JXW Gaming as well. He was just a unfortunate bystander there behind them on the racetrack while they're battling, and had nowhere to go when the incident happened.
Sorry, Golderator spun out on the exit of turn 3, right on the restart from the VSC. I think he just lit up his tires a little bit too much, and he's got the wall, and he's got damage. Oh my goodness, now things are starting to kick up here. You having a giggle has just left the session. I think he might have disconnected, unfortunately. So, wow, just right on the restart of the VSC, we had a lot of action.
Yeah, I think guys maybe not properly warming up their tires here during the bit of a cooldown period, and it's showing on the restart because they may be lacking speed or even spins like we see here. Big walk-ups from a couple of these guys going into turn 13, but yeah, it's going to take a little bit to get all of the tires warmed back up to where they were before.
So at the front here, it is Flying Jippo still leading the Grand Prix with Stanley right behind him. I think somebody spun out at the exit of turn 12.
Golderator again, his troubles are not improving. He's had a spin coming out of turn 12, like you said. Didn't get any more damage though, so
But DRS has now been enabled, and Stanley is now in a great position right behind Flying Jippo. He hasn't let him get away from the start of this Grand Prix. It was a very hectic start there. I'm sure we're going to hear and see from the drivers later on in possibly in some incidents reports, but it was a lot of racing, a lot of incidents happening everywhere. We have a yellow flag now in Sector 1, it looks like. Is that Puff Digital? Yeah, he's got massive damage on his front wing as well. He has spun out at the exit of turn 3 as well, I think. And those turn 3 and 4 are turning out to be a little bit of a mess. Turns 11 and 12, obviously, we knew those are going to be a little bit of trouble. But now a lot of people have damage on this lap. They're going to have to be pitting. So Golderator is now into the pits. I'm sure we're going to see a couple more people come in soon.
Yeah, the tires are starting to wear off, but not enough that it'd be causing these guys trouble. Oh, a big move there from Jones on Aerofist. Oh, they touched. They both spun out, and Jones hit the wall there. That's big damage for him.
Oh no, and now Aero is in the gravel. He does have damage on his front wing as well. We've got a lot of incidents happening right now. I'm not sure what's going on. I think some drivers are just pushing a little bit too hard, while the other drivers are are just running their own race. So we're gonna see how this affects everything. Ryan, who's a reserve driver, I'm pretty sure he started in last place. He's currently in 7th.
He's having a great race. I mean, he's mostly just keeping clean, and other cars are falling around him, but that's a skill, right, to keep the car in one piece, so he's doing a great job at that. And hopefully he gets a nice, hefty points rewards for it.
So Jones goes on to the hard tire. It looks like Aero decided to go on the soft tire. We've got a couple more people into the pits. Puff Digital goes on to a soft as well. So those guys are committing to a 2-stop in here, or maybe they're judging by all the incidents that are happening, and they're saying, well, there might be another safety car here.
I mean, at this rate, I'd be surprised if we don't see one. I'm surprised we haven't already, given the amount of debris and front wings that are probably scattered across the virtual racetrack here. Yeah, it's a safe bet, I think, at this point, to expect at least a safety car in the remaining laps.
Nice little battle going on here for the top 3. Oh no, Flying Jippo lost it out of the last corner and lost the lead of the race. Stanley jumps into first. Chargers is now only 3/10 behind Flying Jippo. I'm not sure if Jippo has any sort of damage or anything else going on with him, but that was definitely not a good one. Now it looks like we've got somebody crashed out. McLaren?
Yeah, McLaren P1 tried to move on you having a giggle, and just the door got shut on him. And same exact thing that happened between Jones and the Red Bull, and around he goes, he hits that wall, and it's a new front wing for McLaren P1.
Wow, so the lead of the race just changed due to a mistake from Flying Jippo, the leader. I'm not sure what happened to him, but it looked like he just lost the car, got a little bit too eager onto the power out of the last corner, and that's exactly what I was saying. I feel like that last corner, it's even trickier than the chicane of 11 and 12, because you got to apply the throttle through there really, really carefully. Now we have somebody else that's crashed out.
Nip Steven. You had a spin. You were just talking about how difficult that corner was. That's exactly what happened. He's kept that front wing intact, but too much throttle around the car went, and he's very lucky to escape that with no damage other than a bit of the overheated tires. The reason why that corner is so tricky is that you can take it in 5th gear, or while accelerating the 5th gear, and you still get a lot of tire spin out of it because you're trying to accelerate while turning for the most part. And it's so easy for these cars to go around when you're doing that, when you're putting power with the wheel not completely straight. So I'm not surprised that we're seeing some drivers struggling on that today.
So Flying Jippo did lose the lead, but he is now very, very close to Stanley behind him. He was down to about 0.3 of a second on the straight there with the DRS enabled. But one thing he doesn't have too much of is battery. He's got 16% DRS right now, and from my own experience here last night, I gotta say it's not easy getting saving DRS. So I'm sure it's not gonna be easy for him to keep this up.
No, there's 2 hard braking zones. in this like really hard braking zone in this racetrack, the kind that really recharge that ERS, and that's turn 3 and turn 13. So everywhere else, you're either not going super fast when you get there, or you're taking them with a considerable amount of speed. So like you said, it's so hard to regenerate that ERS.
Oh, he's thinking for a move now around the edge of turn 13. They take a little bit of contact there. Not too much, though. It looks like they made it cleanly. And Flying Jimbo trying to go for the lead, but they're still side by side now into the next corner as well, and into the last corner now. This is going to be very tricky. Flying Jimbo is going to be on the outside of that, but they're still side by side. Stanley is just holding on to that lead, running right in front of Flying Jimbo. He actually got the DRS onto the straight, which was very interesting. It looks like in that detection zone, they were so side by side that Stanley might have just been behind, and Stanley now has also DRS onto the next straight. Flying Jimbo does not. This allows Chargers now to close up the gap on the both of them, and he's only about 4/10 behind.
What can I just say? What a move by Flying Jimbo there around turn 13. 14, he was around the outside, and it's so hard to get traction there, and he just kept it there, and he kept it clean. And it's unfortunate here that you get one DRS detection zone for 2 straights, because like you said, that allowed Charger to close right back up to them, and now he's got someone else to deal with on top of trying to take back the lead.
So lap 8 of 29, we still got over 20 laps to go. Everybody who's watching, massive thank you to you again. Keep those comments coming in and let us know what you guys think about this race so far, because from where we're sitting, it's pretty damn exciting, and it's just getting better and better here. A massive, massive battle still going on here for the top 3 positions. Stanley currently still leading the race, Flying Jippo right behind him in 2nd, Chargers in 3rd, and as we just saw, their Chargers closed a lot of that gap down. Now a question is also going to be who's going to go for the undercut, and Chargers is the first one to go into the pits.
That's a bold call for Chargers. In terms of when you're supposed to pit there, he's right at the start of his window. It's a smart move, but to go before those 2 guys ahead of him when they're still under some sort of pressure by guys like Seegers, that's putting faith in your strategy that it's going to work and you're not going to lose time on those tires, and he's going on the hards.
Is he going to come out in front of Ryan? That's going to be really the deciding moment for him, because that means he's going to be in front of the highest hard tire runner right now, and his hard tires are going to be 8 laps younger. He's only going to do 20 laps on these tires here, so Chargers back into 5th place. He's got a big gap, 12 seconds to RC, right? Or sorry, 8 seconds to RC right now. So it is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Oh, there's a battle there going on between Ryan and Asio, and both M9H Racing and Asio get in front of Ryan. I'm not sure if he got pushed wide or if he just locked up.
He did go deep, and I did see tire smoke. I don't know what caused it. But Ryan going far into that corner and losing 2 spots because of it, he's not going to be happy with himself there.
M9H Racing promotes himself up into 6th place, which is brilliant driving from him. I think he started around P13 or 14, so he's doing an amazing job in this race so far. Probably does not have to pit again. He can probably make it until the end on 28 lap old tires, but it's gonna probably be a little bit of a tight cut there. It looks like pitting for Flying Jimbo and Stanley, both of them going into the pits, which means that Seegrease is now inheriting the lead of the race. He's continuing on lap 10 on the soft tires. Let's see what sort of tires. Stanley goes for mediums, Flying Jimbo goes for hards. This is going to be absolutely amazing to watch now, how this is going to affect the rest of the race.
This is super interesting, and look at this, Flying Jimbo coming out just in front of Chargers by the slimmest of margins. But with Stanley going on the mediums, he's going to have that pace now. He's going to struggle really late in this race, though.
I think TCR Jones, yeah, I think TCR Jones has just had a moment there coming out of turn 13, but Chargers now applying a lot of pressure onto Flying Jimbo. Flying Jimbo has just come out of the pit, so he's going to have to warm up those tires, but Chargers had that chance to warm up his already on 1 lap. This is going to be extremely interesting. RC7 and Seegrease running in 1st and 2nd right now. Seegrease is in 1st with a massive gap to RC, 15 seconds. That is just amazing. But he's going to lose that position when he goes into the pits. Unless something else happens here. We've already seen some massive upsets and big incidents here tonight. Some people making mistakes, like Flying Jimbo losing the lead there and haven't been able to regain it since. So, oh my goodness, M9H Racing! Oh, and he crashes out into us. Ossio as well. That was a massive, massive incident. I was just riding on board with Ossio as they were coming through there, and M9H Racing lost the back. There goes the safety car.
Yeah, so well, there's that safety car we were talking about, and I'm surprised it took this long for the first victim of that turn 12 exit to manifest itself in the race. And unfortunate for Ossio to get involved, he's going to retire himself.
Actually, it was a spin out. He went into the gravel. He missed the corner into turn 13, and he tried to come back on the track, and he just had a little bit of a loss of traction, and he went into the wall. But in the meantime, we've got some people into the pits. Fuzz, JXW Gaming, Ryan, RC7, all of those guys have just pitted in, but the leaders are continuing on.
Yeah, Seacrease passed the pit entrance when that safety car came out, so he's not able to pit yet. It's not going to matter too much because as long as he's not behind that safety car, everyone's operating on a Delta. But still unfortunate though that it kind of let his competitors react before him. They might be able to gain a little bit of time there. Yeah, all the leaders carrying on, and it's those guys that hadn't pit yet that all dove into the pits. Quick thinking by them, and we're seeing this mix of strategies come out, aren't we? There's a lot of mediums, there's a lot of hard tires as well.
Ben Swerving gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, so actually this worked out for Z-Grease a little bit because everybody had to follow the Delta going around this track, going around this lap, and now Z-Grease is into the pits. He's got a healthy 18-second gap back to Stanley. Yeah. This is going to be absolutely incredible timing for him, but I just gotta say, that was such an unfortunate incident between M9H Racing and Ossio. Ossio was just a bystander there. He did not have anything to do with it. It wasn't a battling incident. M9H Racing just came out of turn 12, touched that outside curb, and he lost the back of the car, and he sort of lost it to the right once and corrected to the left and took out Ossio completely into the wall.
Interestingly, Charger's pitting again. He's going to put the medium tires on. So I think maybe he's not super happy with how the hards felt, or he goes, well, you know what, I got a gap to the car behind. He's only going to lose one position to RC7 here, or will he? Oh yeah, just barely. And putting on that softer tire compound, because now it's going to be easier for it to reach the end of the race, thanks to the safety car.
And they're still battling for position here almost. Chargers and RC7 as Chargers came out of the pits. But yeah, this is a very interesting strategy call from Chargers, and as you said, it might just completely make the race for him, because I think that medium can definitely work out pretty good on this track. I didn't get to use it last night. I went from the soft straight on to the hard, and with the hard tire, personally, I gotta say it's sort of like waves. The pace comes and goes, but if you lock them into a sweet spot and you don't overwork them, you can do very well. Now with the mediums, I mean, I did 24 laps on the hards. You can probably easily do 17 laps on those.
I think 17 are probably right towards the end of what was called, like, you know, the workable tire life, where you still have grip, you still have pace in it, you haven't fallen completely off the cliff. If your setup is a bit too harsh on them, or you're working them a little bit too hard, the medium tires, I can see some guys maybe having some troubles towards the end of this race.
And while we were talking, actually, because we have a safety car on the full track map here, it's all yellow, so nothing lit up yellow for me, and I did notice Ben Swerven DNF'd under the safety car. He lost it on the exit of turn 16 on the last corner and smashed into the wall on the inside there, so we now have 4 DNFs out of this race.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, I missed that as well. And yeah, I mean, he had a drive-through, so his race was effectively over, because he can't serve that under safety car. Effectively over, barring another safety car, of course. So maybe just a bit of inattention because of frustration or something, lapse of concentration, and around the car goes. But it's a very unfortunate way to finish your Grand Prix.
Alright, so for those of you guys that are just joining, or if you missed out on a little bit of this race, it's been massively exciting. I mean, Albert Park in Australia, it's always a great track to drive, and it always delivers very exciting racing, but tonight has been exceptional, absolutely exceptional. We've had some good battling, but it's all been separated by some massive incidents, especially that incident that caused a safety car between M9H Racing and Osseo. That was a really big one and really unfortunate. I mean, it was nobody's fault there. It was just a really unfortunate exit out of a corner for M9H Racing, losing the car. Ben swerving, DNFing onto the safety car on the last corner. That's really unfortunate for him as well. So far, it's been massively exciting. Now, with all these tire strategies coming into play, this might be one of the best Grand Prix of the season here. We've still got 16 laps to go, so we're not even halfway, and we're on the safety car, but once we get restarted, this is going to be absolutely amazing to watch. Get ready.
Oh yeah, and these guys, their tires aren't that different in terms of pace. They're all more or less the same age. So we're gonna be seeing some guys really be able to fight for it and battle with each other, because they're not gonna have that pace difference that you would normally get from somebody catching up to you on newer tires. They're all on that same kind of stage in their tire life, and it's going to put on for some great racing. One person who apparently is going against the grain, though, is McLaren P1. He's still on the softs. And they're 7 laps old, too, so he's going to have to pit shortly after the safety car, isn't he?
And there goes the safety car, just peeled off into the pits. I didn't even see the message, but Flying Jippo just completely running away with it. What was that? What was that restart? Everybody sleeping on it. Z-Grease, Flying Jippo, and everybody else. I mean, Stanley got away with it, and everybody else absolutely ended up sleeping there. What was happening? And now Stanley, 2.2 seconds in front.
Well, how to steal a race 101? You get them on the restart, and there was no way that you could have planned that any better. He just went, and nobody realized until he was already in 6th or 7th gear down the straightaway. And look at this, big gap already. He's going to be breathing pretty easily now.
That was the best restart for any driver I've ever seen. Honestly, that was just programmed to perfection from Stanley, but it takes a skill to catch everybody sleeping by that much, honestly. McLaren P1 unfortunately had an incident there, so those soft tires not really working out for him at this restart now. Stanley 2.1 seconds ahead of everybody. Z-Grease in second, Flying Jippo in third. He's about half a second behind Z-Grease. Chargers in fourth right now, RC7 in fifth. Ryan, the reserve driver, having started from last place, running in 6th place on the medium tire, definitely taking it until the end. Incredible job from him. Pazorus Rex also started right near the bottom of the list there. He's running in 9th place right now, and there's a nice little battle going on. There's a huge train all the way down from Fuzz and up to Jones in 13th, so that is going to be exciting to watch here.
Yeah, that's the battle brewing in the midfield, and you can even count Ryan in that list. They're the one they're all trailing, and if these guys can just keep the tires warmed up as everyone's kind of getting to their window there, it's going to be kind of epic. At least I hope so in the coming laps.
They're starting to close in on each other a little bit, but we don't have the DRS just yet. We've just gotten restarted from the safety car, and I'm sure that we're going to have more battling going on once the DRS gets enabled. But for now, watching here is Puff Digital and TCR Jones are running very close to each other. Puff Digital trying to close up to JXW Gaming, gaining on him. Oh, touching the back of him a tiny little bit, locking up the inside wheel there as well. That was quite dangerous. Let's check out Aero Fizzen here, who's gaining quickly on Fuzz. They're going to come through turn 11 and 12 now on the medium tire. Making all those tire changes, one effect that it has on you in terms of mentally is just getting figured out and getting the feel for a different tire compound in mid-race. That's definitely not an easy thing to do, is it?
Well, no, it's a fresh start, isn't it, when you put on a new tire? At least personally for me, if I was struggling with a tire and I put on a different compound, I'm like, all right, I can get this one now. So, but for other drivers, like you said, it's kind of unsettling. You're like, oh, I got to relearn everything. And so I guess for certain drivers, this is a blessing, and for others, it might just be a curse.
TCR Jones was having a look there into turn 1 on Puff Digital, but that's not going to be close enough. Puff Digital got a massively beautiful exit out of turn 1 and 2, and now he is gaining on JXW Gaming while Jones has dropped back by a few more tenths of a second. So this just shows you can really get a good run here out of a single corner, and you could be all of a sudden gaining on somebody and possibly going for an overtake. Anything can still happen here in this round 10 of this golden class in season 10 of TCR. What an incredible race this has been so far. We're now on lap 16 of 29, still 13 laps to go, and as I just said, anything could still happen here tonight. Let's take a look here at Fuzz as he's still gaining on Ryan as they're coming through turn 11 and 12. Fuzz is going to have the DRS right after this corner here. Now he's got the DRS, he's not using any overtake. It looks like he switched up a gear into 8th through 11 and 12 instead of switching down. Oh, and Puff Digital is out. Let's take a look what happened there. We're gonna be on board with you having a giggle.
Exit. Turn 12 exit, I think, and I'm on board with you having a giggle, and that is one mangled car there. Definitely got loose off of the exit and hit that wall because there's a big chunk of that car missing.
So VSC, I think this is our second VSC. We had a full safety car just a few moments here ago as well. And Fuzz, we're watching as he is still trying to gain some time, but under VSC, you can actually gain some time if you really play it to your advantage. VSC is now over. We're back to green flag racing, and DRS is back to being enabled. Stanley still 2 seconds ahead of Seagrease. Flying Jippo outside of the DRS zone of Seagrease as well. He's going to have to make up some time if he wants that lead back.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Flying Jippo has not been able to get past Seagrease yet, because Flying Jippo was by far the fastest driver in the first stage of this race, and just not able to get back into his groove, I think, because not only is Seagrease holding Stanley at, well, he's trailing Stanley at pretty much the same distance as when they restarted the race, but Flying Jippo's falling back, and he's in danger of losing DRS.
And the fight in the midfield between Ryan and Fuzz and Arrow is still going on. Fuzz really gained a bunch of time through that DRS zone now. They're going to have another one as they're going to come to the end of the lap here in just a moment as they come through turn 14 and 15 now and into turn 16 for the last corner on this track, but one of the trickiest corners, and it's proven so tonight as well. I think we had 3 or 4 people, or no, a couple of people that crashed out at the exit of turn 16, and then the rest of them were pretty much in 11, 12.
Yeah, right behind this battle here of
Just Fuzz.
The Ferrari. There was an easy move there by Golderator on Passasaurus, and oh, they're trading positions in the front, aren't they? This is getting very, very tight.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a moment there between Ryan and Fuzz. Ryan actually came out of corner 3 and lost the back end of the car, and that allowed Fuzz to sort of close up to him, but he was parked in a very awkward position, so Arrow decided to send it right the outside and not quite making it through there, but Arrow is now super close to the back of them, and as you mentioned, Paz and Golderator, those two guys are getting super close to each other as well. Flying Jippo started closing up the gap to Seagrease. He will be in the DRS zone as they're going to be coming onto the straight.
Here goes Arrows, and he's down the inside way before the braking zone. He had an excellent exit there coming out of turn 12. Just not able to make it stick, though, because Fuzz just such a better exit coming out of turn 13 that he just left that Red Bull behind him.
And now coming on to lap 19 with the DRS open onto the start-finish straight. Let's see if we're going to see any moves here. Fuzz is looking. Ryan is trying to break the toe. Nothing happening into turn 1 just yet. We're going to have another DRS zone here right at the exit of turn 2. And it looks like Fuzz is now using his overtake as well. He's going to go around the outside of Ryan into turn 3. Beautiful move there from Fuzz, advancing himself up into 6th place in that Ferrari. That was a very, very clean and smooth move, and also very risky though, so he definitely had to send it. Impressive.
That was textbook from Fuzz there over Ryan. Sending it around the outside is always tricky. You got to hit your braking zone just right, and you got to keep the car under control through that corner. He did both of those things perfectly, and just able to keep that position. Gave him enough room on the inside to avoid any incidents, and can't criticize that move there. That was textbook.
Through turns 11 and 12 again goes Aero and Ryan and Fuzz. Ryan and Aero are gonna have the DRS, but Fuzz is doing a pretty good job of staying ahead there. ERS for Aero is really nice and high. He's got almost 70%, so he's saving it up to make his move whenever he gets the chance, as they're coming now through turn 15. And let's see here if we're going to get anything with the DRS from Ryan or possibly Aero. Ryan gets a really good exit. Aero didn't get a good entry into the last corner there, so he's dropped back a little bit, but Ryan not really doing much on Fuzz here now. But we're going to wait until they come out of turn 2 into the second DRS zone. Let's see here. He's definitely gaining. Is he going to have a look into turn 4, to turn 3? I mean, not quite, but Fuzz locking up there, almost going really wide. Aero now thinking about going for a move on Ryan, and he makes it stick around the outside there, and there we go, advancing himself up into 7th place now. We have a yellow in sector 2. I think that is McLaren, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. They're having another bit of a spin. Doesn't look like he's had any damage, but as we're looking at the battles behind there, just past the McLaren right now are the leaders, and look how much Flying Jippo has caught up to Series. Look how much Chargers has caught up to Flying Jippo. And just like that, we're having another three-way battle for podium position here.
Let's switch over to that one and we'll take a look here. Yeah, Seagrease is having some trouble behind them. Those mirrors are full of pink and also the red and blue of Flying Jippo. He pretty much has nothing and nowhere to go, so I'm not sure how long he's going to be able to hold on to that one. We have a yellow flag in the 3rd sector. It's a Renault. Is that Bezoris? As he had a moment.
It is there. Yeah, and more wing damage. Another victim of turn 13 has been getting drivers all day, and we're up to 4 or 5 drivers there having incidents coming out of that corner. They got to be a little bit more careful on the acceleration there because those curves are treacherous.
Aero and Fuzz now really battling. Aero just overtook Fuzz there into turn 1 and 2, but Fuzz not letting go of it just yet. Thinking about sending it down the inside, but thought about it twice there because his front wing would have been completely gone if he decided to do that. Chargers is now side by side with Flying Jippo. This is getting absolutely exciting now. Flying Jippo giving him enough space there, but making a tiny little bit of a touch as they're coming through turn 10, and now on the run down to 11 and 12. Who's gonna have the DRS here? It looks like Flying Jippo will have DRS on Chargers on the exit. Oh my goodness, there touching the grass, almost losing the car is Flying Jippo, but holding it together, not being able to close up a lot of that gap to Chargers. Chargers is not having a great time on his tires though into the braking zones, as I'm noticing.
Yeah, maybe it's just a little bit more unstable, but what I'm noticing is Flying Jippo, at least for me, looks to be very slidey. And I think he's just not getting those hard tires to work the way that he wants them to, because normally he'd be blazing past Seagrease, he'd be catching up to Stanley right now. But just, he seems to be struggling to get heat in those tires and to get them in the working window.
So he's got 7 laps to go. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a massive. That was a massive moment.
He's missing grip on those tires or something because his rear end is all over the place right now.
And he lost a couple of tenths of a second there to Chargers, but in the meantime, this sort of worked to Seagrease's advantage. He's gained about a second on both of them, so he's trying to pull it ahead. There's a big battle going on with Jones and Golderator. They switched positions about 3 or 4 times there in just a matter of seconds, but it looks like Jones has gotten ahead now into 9th place.
Yeah, right ahead of them. Catching up to Aero, who's himself slowly getting closer to RC7. I'm not sure if they're going to have time to catch up in the remaining laps here, but I'm seeing a couple of tenths fall off that gap to 5th place every single lap. So might have some other battles yet to even develop by the end of this race.
And now I'm watching as Golderator is starting to close up on Jones back again because Jones made a massive slide there and almost lost the car. So that lost him quite a bit of time. Touching the grass there, almost touching the wall is Jones. Oh my goodness, I'm not sure if that's the tires or if that's just how hard he's pushing that car right now, but he is pretty much all over the track. Gold Raider is going to have a really good run on him now on the start-finish straight with the DRS open. Jones still has the DRS on Ryan in front of him as well. Not using the ERS just yet as Gold Raider, but we're coming through turn 2 now, and on the exit here he's going to have another DRS zone. Yeah, with Jones having DRS as well, it's not really much that Gold Raider can do right now. Stanley out in the lead with 4.2 seconds clear of anyone else. He must be feeling pretty well about that restart.
Well, this battle between for second place has helped Stanley out so much, because when Chargers and Flying Jippo started to catch up to Seagrease, that gap was 2.3 seconds. It was the same as at the restart. And in the last couple of laps, we've seen that gap almost double, as Seagrease has just A, been struggling with his tires, and B, driving looking at his rearview mirrors because he's got cars all over there trying to overtake him.
Chargers is super close right now, but he's playing it smart. He's just sticking to the back of his rear wing until he gets a good run with DRS and possibly the overtake button enabled. Ooh, a little bit wide there through the corner 15. But now onto the start-finish straight. Is this gonna, yeah, that definitely compromised him a little bit, so he's gonna have to wait for another lap. But this battle for second place, this is absolutely incredible to watch right now. We also have another battle going for 9th and 10th right now between Jones and Gold Raider. Those two guys have been battling for quite a while. Stanley, though, as we've already mentioned, that restart after the safety car, it seemed like everybody was sleeping behind him, and he got 2 seconds before he made it into turn 1.
I'm honestly, I'm still confused as to how exactly he pulled that off, because it looked like everyone was bunched up behind him. It looked like everyone was paying attention. I think we got 2 spins at the same time here. McLaren being one of them, and is that TCR Jones? Yeah, I think TCR Jones had a bit of a moment with Gold Raider because they're very far from Ryan now. But yeah, I'm not sure how Stanley pulled that off still. And we're 24 laps into the race. We're what, 12 laps since the safety car restart?
Here comes Chargers around the outside of Seagrease. Sorry to interrupt you there. Into turn 13, and Chargers is up into second place.
Yeah, that's a good move from Chargers there. Please interrupt me more if it's for stuff like that. Moving up to second place, he's got 5 laps to make up 4.2 seconds on Stanley. And Stanley's been on point all race long, so he's got a big task ahead of him and almost no ERS to do it.
So as it stands right now, I mean, it looks like Stanley has got a really great chance of winning this race tonight. Flying Jippo in the lead of the championship is not going to get exactly what he was hoping for, only going to get a few points to his name, but still extending that lead in front, because Aero Fizen, which is his biggest contender right now, is in 6th place. He's not going to get too many points either here tonight.
No, not the race Aero Fizen wanted, of course, being second in the championship. You want to score as many points as possible. Even if first placing is out of reach, you want to solidify your advantage, and he's done quite the opposite of that, because if I'm doing some quick maths here, I think Seagrease might just be ahead of him at the end of this race.
This is going to be very interesting indeed. Chargers is going to get quite a heap of points to his name as well. That's going to help him out here today. We are now on lap 25. We're about to start lap 26 of this Grand Prix. So only 3 more laps to go in round 10 here in Golden Class in Season 10 of TCR. This race, I gotta say, absolutely one for the books. For me personally, it's been one of the most exciting races we've seen in Season 10. But Golden Class, I just have to say it, and I say this every time I commentate on them, but they do such an incredible job of providing us with an amazing show every Wednesday. There's battling, there's incidents, there's strategy games, there's just everything happening in this class, and it's incredible to see. I gotta give it like hands down to them.
Oh yeah, this has been quite the race, and I mean, I raced here earlier this season in this tier. There's some good racing in here. There's a lot of good drivers in this tier, and they're out here in the front. They're putting on a show for us right now, and it's evident that there's skill here. And Yeah, I was just while you were talking there, I was doing some quick maths in my head, and at the end of this race, provided the positions don't change, Seacrest, Aero Fizen's separated by a single point in the championship standings for P2.
Wow.
So a lot riding on this race.
That's how quickly the tables can turn around here. Charges is pulling out a gap. Oh my goodness, RC7! What happened to RC7? He has crashed out. Is it another victim of turn 11 and 12? It is. And it's another safety car. Oh my goodness. What's going to happen here? Okay, so Stanley, Zegers, and Chargers were a little bit too far ahead, so they don't go into the pits. Flying Jippo is going into the pits. Wow, I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time. I mean, we might finish the race on the safety car, so I'm not sure if there's a point to come into the pits, really, to fit on those soft tires. He might even lose a position. Aero goes into the pits as well behind him, and they're both going to lose some positions to Fuzz. So they're pretty much betting on a quick restart here on lap 28, and they're hoping that they might get one lap of racing, possibly.
I've never seen the safety car out with more than 3 laps to go, so I have no idea what's going to happen. Usually if the safety car comes out, it comes in when there's 2 to 3 laps to go, so there's a very good chance here that the safety car doesn't queue up the entire pack, and that there might be some guys left out hanging because they chose to do a pit stop before and couldn't catch up before the safety car went off again. I think everyone's going to be mostly okay looking at the mini-map here, but the Renault of Pizzazz for once is gonna have to really put the pedal down if he wants to catch up to this queue in time.
So this is just another turn of events here, another exciting one. A safety car's in on this lap. What?
Yes, there it is.
I've never seen it come up so early on the lap as well. We just entered the third sector. Usually in Australia it comes out really, really late, the message, but we only had not even a full lap on their safety car.
It's world's fastest marshals around here in Australia, cleaning up that car very quickly. But like I said, I'm pretty sure you cannot finish races under your safety car in this game, and the safety car is always going to come in with 2 laps to go. So I think that's what's happening here, and Aerofizen pitting is going to hurt him more. He thinks, I think, because now Seacrest is ahead of him in the championship.
And there goes Stanley again with a really good restart, but this time Chargers and Seacrest weren't as sleepy as they were before, but Chargers still holding on to that second position. Seacrest didn't quite get the run that he was hoping for. He was really close to him on the exit of the last corner, but they are through there. Flying Jippo in 7th place on those soft tires is now closing up to TCR Jones. Let's see if he's going to make any sort of a move into turn 4 or into turn 3. He does, down the inside, and he's up into 6th place. TCR Jones spins out, hits the wall. They made a tiny little bit of contact. TCR Jones had to go onto the curb, and that's what spun him out there. So Flying Jippo is up into 6th place, now really close to Ryan. Is he gonna have a chance of possibly making it up a few positions here before this is over? There he goes on Ryan now, round the outside into turn 6. And he makes that one stick as well. And he's up into 5th. Oh my god.
And Ryan hits Aerofizen. Ryan spun around. Aerofizen had nowhere to go. Flying Jippo with that move, he's essentially taking out his teammate.
He's essentially taken out 2 cars and in 2 overtake opportunities there, so I'm sure those are possibly going to get reviewed. Flying Jippo pitting was definitely not a good call, and neither was Aerofizen, so both of the cars from Red Bull are, I don't know, they just fumbled it for me personally on this one.
Oh, Flying Jippo had a chance to be right behind Seacrest, and now not only is he looking at a penalty for taking out Ryan, who had a fantastic race up until this point. I do want to highlight that. He started last, and he was running P5 there. But Flying Jippo just really kind of putting a stick in his own wheels there as he pits out of an advantageous position, gets himself a penalty for good measure, and takes his teammate out of serious contention.
Now there's a little bit of a battle here between Fuzz and Seacrest. Fuzz is within 6/10 of a second on the last lap. They're going to have one more DRS zone. He has enough overtake to possibly go and make a move here. He's not really closing up the time, but this would be amazing if Fuzz manages to take away the last step on the podium in the dying moments of this race. Stanley is still in the lead. He's got a 6/10 clear of Chargers, but what an incredible race has been for Stanley. Once he pounced on Flying Jippo when Flying Jippo made that mistake and he overtook him for the lead of the race, that was pretty much him gone. And then that restart from the safety car, absolutely incredible. I've never seen a better restart from anyone else. Chargers had a really good run now with the DRS on the last lap, but I don't think it's gonna do anything. Stanley is coming around turn 15 now, and just about to come around the last corner, and he's gonna come up to the line. As long as he doesn't make any mistakes here now, he's gonna be the winner here tonight. Stanley wins in Australia. Chargers comes home second. Seagrease comes home in third place. Very impressive race from all of them. Flying Jippo managed to advance himself all the way up to fourth and steal the fastest lap. So that was pretty good for him, managing to scratch away a few more extra points, but it might be up for review because of a couple of incidents he had here on the last lap. Fuzz in 5th, Gold Raider in 6th, JXW Gaming in 7th place, Aerofizz in 8th. We've got Paz in 9th, Ryan, who started last in 10th place, so stealing 1 point here tonight, but could have done a little bit better if not for that incident, was Flying Jippo. And then Jones in 11th, you having the giggle in 12th, and McLaren in 13th. So we had 6 DNFs here tonight, quite a big number, but we sort of were expecting some incidents coming into this race, and what a race it was. It's absolutely one of the most exciting races I've ever had to see and commentate on.
Yeah, it's Australia is always a very tough racetrack to race on. It always puts on such great races, and this is just another example of them. We had some excellent battles. We had some cars going 3 wide. We had some crazy restarts. Honestly, this race has got to go down as one of the highlights of this season for this tier. I think took a lot of victims, but it was a good time.
Absolutely. We had 2 safety cars, about 2 or 3 VSCs as well for quite a few incidents. I think we saw the quickest safety car in TCR history, in F1 history possibly. It came out of the pits and it came back in at the end of that lap. And Stanley is going to be the winner here tonight, doing an incredible job. Very clean driving, very smart driving from him. JXW Gaming getting driver of the day, and we'll see where he started the race, but I'm sure that he deserved that one as well. So on the podium there, it's Renault on the top step, with Stanley holding that trophy and holding on to the win here after everything that we've had in this race. What an incredible job from him. Chargers in 2nd place, and it was Seagrease in 3rd for the top podium steps there.
Yeah, I think it was all about confidence. Stanley, after that restart where he mugged everybody and built up that gap, I think he just kind of felt untouchable, and he proved that on the second restart. Just kept the car so controlled and built up another gap. He did not look back and misses out on he had the fastest lap right up until close to the end, I think. So just an all-around all-star performance for Stanley, and I don't think you can find any complaints with his race.
I'll tell you where there are a lot of complaints. There's a lot of complaints coming in the comments about Jippo's driving for the last lap or so. A lot of people not happy with that. Some people are saying that that was shocking driving standards from Jippo, so there might be some drama after this race. Jippo, though, currently in 4th place, did get the fastest lap of the race as well, trying to steal some extra points. He did start first on the grid and made a mistake there right around the mid-levels of the race, where Stanley pounced on that mistake, and he was gone with it since then. Incredible race. I honestly don't even know what sort of adjectives to choose to describe this one, because it was exciting, it was exhilarating from start to finish. We had incidents, we had safety cars, we had battling all around. We're gonna hear from our podium finishers here tonight, if you can possibly invite them in to the to the party, and we were hear from Stanley, Seagrease, and Chargers. All 3 of them, absolutely incredible performance here tonight. I gotta really say, you know, Albert Park and Australia, one thing I gotta notice from last night's race and tonight's race, it produces very unpredictable racing. I think between strategy, between battling, between how this track is laid out and racing around it, it's not an easy track. It's sort of a street track because most of the year it's pretty much just a park. It reminds me of Canada and the Montreal Grand Prix there because it's pretty much the exact same thing. There's a park and then they lay down some barriers and it becomes a racetrack. So it's got a lot of challenges in that track, and I think all of our drivers here tonight in the Golden class have just absolutely risen to that challenge and have done an incredible job. So we're just waiting for the podium finishers to join in to the party so we can hear from them in the interviews. But everybody who's been watching the stream, oh my god, guys, thank you guys so much. As I said, leave us a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet so you can really stay up to date on all of the racing. We have 3 classes, silver, gold, and platinum, racing every single week on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So tomorrow at 8:15, the same time as tonight, we will have also the platinum class race back here at Albert Park. So just judging by the first 2 races of the week, I'm sure that's going to be another really great one. So I see that Chargers has now joined us in the party. We're still waiting for Stanley and Seagrease. We're going to see if they can possibly join in as well. And then we will hear from everyone. But I guess since Chargers is already here, we might as well possibly start with them. I'm not sure. Knight, did you invite the other guys, or?
I invited Seagrease. Unfortunately, because of Stanley's privacy settings, I'm not able to add him either as a friend or to the party. So we might need somebody who has him on his friends list to send him an invite.
Yeah, so maybe if Chargers, if you possibly have him, see if you can send him an invite quickly, or maybe if Seagrease is going to join in as well, we'll ask that from him. Because wow, what a drive! I honestly just want to ask about that restart because that was the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do hope we can get him in here. Who was behind him on that restart? Is it one of our podiums?
It was Seagrease, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, well, since we do have Chargers already in the party, let's start with Chargers. So, very, very nice drive from you tonight. I can't remember exactly where you started. I think you started in second position and you ended up in second position as well. So, another podium to your name. I think you're going to be happy with this one after getting third place in Netherlands as well at Zandvoort. Tell us about the race from your perspective. What really happened there?
It was actually kind of a frustrating race. I knew I could have won that race if I gotten clean air. But yeah, I was really happy to end up getting second. So in qualifying, I started third. I messed up the last sector pretty badly. I lost like at least 2 tenths there. I wasn't gonna get Jippo, but I could have got P2 at least. And then on the start, me, Jippo, and Stanley, we were all pretty much even pace. Just couldn't really do anything. Then I if I wanted to stay on the hards or just try to jump onto the mediums. I kind of figured if I was on the hards, I was kind of just going to be kind of screwed by the end of the race with everyone grouped together on mediums behind me. So I pit, and then I lost I think 2 positions. Had to get those back, and then yeah, the last safety car kind of brought me back into it. I had a chance. Like on the restart, I don't know, it's like some glitch or something, but like I couldn't get the throttle down for like a second or 2, and it let Stanley get like a second gap, and I couldn't catch him from that.
Yeah, I think that was the best restart I've ever seen because he was 2 seconds ahead of everybody else before Stanley got into turn 1. But with all those incidents happening all around, I mean, how hard was it to stay out of the walls and out of other people's incidents tonight?
I mean, for me, I didn't really see any of the incidents. I think they were mostly like back in the pack. So for me, it wasn't really that hard to stay out of them.
Oh, and now Stanley is asking to join the party in the chat on Facebook. On YouTube. I'm not sure how we're gonna get him in here. But Knight, did you have any questions for Chargers?
I mean,
maybe stay ahead. I think it was RC7. I thought I could maybe stay ahead of him, but he just ended up getting me. So I ended up only losing 2 spots, and I knew that the mediums were going to be a lot faster tire, being that there was a safety car.
Well, congratulations again on that second place. I think it was an incredible race, and you know, just you saying that you didn't see any incidents, that just tells us right there that you did a pretty good job of staying out of them. So there was a lot of incidents. Rewatch the stream when you get a chance, because there was some really big ones. M9H Racing lost the back of the cars. He was coming through turn 12 and took out Asio, who was an innocent bystander. So definitely check that out if you can. But great job here tonight again, Chargers.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, and we've been able to get Stanley into the party so we can hear from him. Stanley, I mean, first of all, congratulations on the win. I think you did some incredibly great things here tonight, just picking out your opportunities like that restart, but mainly when you made that move on Flying Jippo when he lost it, I think it was coming out of turn 3 or turn 2, right at around, you know, lap 8 or 9, you pretty much got in front of him and you kept that lead from there on with the VSCs, with the safety cars, with everything else. Incredible job. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Jippo lost it at the final corner. I think it was lap 4 or 5. Got past, so. And during the safety car restart, I thought like I might have, because I didn't expect to pull like a 2.6 second gap in the first safety car restart, and then basically just try and control it. And then at the final safety car, I was mad because I thought like Saul was behind me and then he passed me. But
yeah, your microphone is cutting out a little bit back in, but yeah, I mean, that was a really exciting race from where we were watching as well. In terms of the tire strategies, what did you do here tonight, and did it work out exactly like you planned?
So I did soft medium, and I thought I was quite optimistic, thinking the mediums will do 20 laps. So I was, and then the safety cars really helped me since it helped me with the tire wear. So I think if there was no safety cars, I might have got punctured. But yeah.
Wow, so that really helped you out, eh? Knight, you have any questions for our winner here?
I just want to know his safety car starting secrets.
There are many. I never got that great of a safety car restart ever.
It can't be that simple. You gotta have some secret somewhere.
Jippo just didn't go.
Just one second you were there, 1 second you were in 7th gear, halfway down the straightaway, and everyone was still on the last corner.
I don't know. I just accelerated the exit of the second to last corner, and then I was surprised to see like that big of a gap. I thought like Jippo lost it or something.
Yeah, he just didn't go.
Because I thought he lost it because his hard got too cold on the final corner, but yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
well, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, either way, that was it was a brilliant call to go when you did, because it built up that gap, and I think without it, that would have been a much harder fought for win.
Yeah, that would have been quite, yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Congratulations again on the win, your second win of the season, your fourth podium of the season as well. You're going to boost yourself up quite a few points in the standings. I think you're going to end up in about 3rd or 4th place here after tonight's race. So do you feel like you might have a chance of boosting yourself up before the end of the season?
My goal, I think, is 2nd place, because Jippo, I think he's quite far away, and with the problems I had in Zandvoort, I think 2nd place is quite realistic for.
All right, so well, good luck for the rest of the season. Absolutely incredible drive here tonight. Let's move on to our P3. Zegrease did join the party here, so we can hear from him as well. So Zegrease, you had a chance there for a moment to possibly win the race tonight, and what happened from there, or tell us about your race overall.
I don't think I was ever really up there for the win. I was leading for a little bit in between the pit stops, but went pretty smooth, didn't have any trouble. Felt good to get back up there because a couple weeks ago at Netherlands I was actually like 6th or 7th and my wheel cut out on me and couldn't shift gears. And then I wrecked out last week, so no points for a couple weeks. I needed to get back up there, do something.
Yeah, I think after today you're gonna be actually in 2nd place, or possibly still in 3rd, but you're gonna be very, very close to Arrow. Are you aiming for that same position that Stanley is aiming for, 2nd place in the standings, or do you think you still might have a chance of going at Jippo?
Yeah, Jippo's having a pretty good year. He might be untouchable, but yeah, that was my goal, was 2nd place, and then I went 2 straight weeks without scoring points, and now there's a big old cluster right there, so it's gonna be some fun racing. But yep.
Knight, any questions for Seagreased?
Not too many, but obviously it's a great way to boost your season there, to have a good drive like that. And what do you got to focus on to turn this into kind of a regular thing, in your opinion? What do you have to
avoiding trouble, basically?
Yeah.
I mean, I started off the season with 4 or 5 top 5s, and then just had a couple rough weeks these past couple weeks. So yeah, just getting back into staying out of trouble and driving smooth.
Yeah, it was a great race from you, and yeah, congratulations on that result.
Thank you.
All right, well, yeah, congratulations again to all of our drivers here tonight, doing an absolutely incredible job. As I said during the end of the stream there, Gold class, you guys put on an incredible show every single Wednesday. The racing is close, it's mostly clean. There's a lot of strategy games going on. There's a lot of teammates trying to help each other out as well. And it's just another incredible Grand Prix that we had to watch here today. I've already said this multiple times, but this one, probably most exciting Grand Prix that I've seen so far in Season 10. Maybe one of the most exciting ones because of everything that was going on. I felt like there was battling going on pretty much all throughout the race, with the safety cars and VSCs also coming out. It really shook things up. We had some people like Flying Jippo deciding to pit that very, very last safety car and dropped himself back a couple of positions. Didn't help himself out much at all. But overall, I'm just absolutely amazed by tonight's racing here. It's been absolutely incredible. Knight, thank you so much for joining me in the commentator booth again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to be here as usual, and I do hope to be back because I always love commentating on these races.
And we definitely hope to have you back again. But it's Stanley on the top step here tonight in his Renault, taking away the top points and doing so in a very, very clean and consistent manner, just taking his opportunities whenever they came and holding on to that win at the end when it all mattered. So to everybody who's been watching the stream, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave us a like, subscribe to the channel. Join us tomorrow again at 8:15 p.m. Eastern to catch the Platinum class racing around here in Australia again. I'm sure that one is going to be no less exciting than what we saw here tonight. And also a big thank you, as I always do, to all of our TCR officials, stewards, all of the drivers, everybody who helps out on the league to make sure that we run this every single week. And also a big thank you to our affiliate sponsor, Fanatec. Check out the link in the description if you guys want to get some equipment and help out the league in doing so. But from myself here, BLIN-MACHINE, and also from ISRL Knight with me in the booth, thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you here tomorrow for Platinum class. Until then, have yourself a great night.